Morning everybody, Mickey here, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Well, I'm up the woods and it's a glorious day. Gonna be 30 degrees today. So I'm gonna do a quick video. And this one is in answer to a question from one of my American friends. And he's going to be visiting the UK and he's asked me, is it going to be okay for him to bring his Leatherman with him and carry his Leatherman around with him? And I can already hear some of you out there screaming, no! Right, let's get into UK knife law, alright, and some sensible approaches. Now, before I even start that, before we even go there, for those people that are going to send me comments like they did last time, going, oh, there you go, see, you're in a society that is treated rough and all the rest of it, just remember this. Okay, so a simple statistic and fact for you. Population of the United Kingdom, 69 million people, okay? We are the same size as the state of Oregon. So for those of my American friends, if you can imagine putting 69 million people into the state of Oregon, then you've got an idea of the density of the population of the United Kingdom. The majority of that population is in industrialised city areas. So yes, laws have to be applied. The other thing to remember is this, in the UK, and this comes back to people always saying to me about guns, we have quite a large shooting community. We do sporting shooting, we do target shooting, we do vermin control, pest control, and we hunt, okay? However, we don't have a huge amount of land. The other thing is, when I go camping, I don't need to carry a firearm. There are no predators out here. There is nothing that's going to harm me in the woods, so I don't need any self-protection. The other thing that's strange about the British people is the British people, given a choice, will always go to that, okay? It's in our nature. We're a scrappy people. You've only got to ask your grandfather if he served over here during the Second World War what the Brits are like, okay? You stick 50 men in a pub, get them drunk. If it's going to kick off, it's always going to go to fisticuffs, right? Yes, there is an element of knife crime in the inner cities, okay, and that tends to be youth-based, young, stupid people, okay? So the knife laws have been brought in and applied to try and control that situation. So let's get on with it, and that's not me trying to knock anybody else. I've travelled the world. If you've lived somewhere where you've got open carry, you've got predators, there is a possible threat, you crack on with it. I'm not knocking anybody else, I'm just trying to explain how it works here. So again, we have no real threats here. So what can I carry? Okie doke, let me get my bit of paper because I actually wrote out what it says on the .gov verbatim from the www.gov.uk. The law, okay? This is the law, and it is simple. It is illegal to carry a knife in a public place in the United Kingdom without good reason. Self-defense is not classed as a good reason, okay? An exception, there we go, this is the important bit, an exception to the rule is a folding pocket knife with a blade shorter than 3 inches and has no form of lock, spring, button or catch that you have to use to fold the blade, okay? Some good reasons could be, or some good reasons for carrying any other form of knife could be for work, religious reasons such as the kirpan that some Sikhs carry, or as part of your national costume. But you could still be charged with an offence and will be required to justify your reason in court, okay? Now, how does that stand for us in the UK? Well, that stands quite sensibly, really. I can carry a folding pocket knife with a blade shorter than 3 inches that doesn't lock, right, pretty much anywhere. However, saying that, there are restrictions. You cannot carry a knife of any description into a school, a hospital or a courtroom, okay? You are not allowed to carry a knife of any description into a nightclub or a pub where alcohol is consumed, okay? some public buildings, museums, etc., that have faced attacks recently by some protesters, okay, have metal detectors set up, and they will confiscate any knife that you carry in with you, including a Leatherman, okay. So if I'm in the city of London, what I tend to do is I'll leave my Leatherman in the car, in the bag, in my transport. If I'm out into the rural areas, then I have it with me 24/7, okay. I've taken advice on carrying larger blades, my bushcraft knives and that, from police officers. I actually bothered to go into the police station and say, look, you know, how do I deal with this, okay? And they gave me some simple answers and methods. But firstly, I'm going to go back to the multi-tool, the Leatherman. So I have a Leatherman. Leathermans are illegal to carry in the UK because the blades lock. Okay, that is the only reason that they're illegal. However, you can modify your Leatherman so that the blades don't lock. Okay, lock. Now, what you can do with most Leathermans and some of the other multi-tools, if they are a cross lock, you can place a thin washer in and disable the lock, okay. That makes that a folding blade sub 3 inches with no lock. It can, if you take it apart, take the thin washer out again, you can apply the lock when you get home to the States. That would be my advice to you if you really want to carry your Leatherman with you. So again, what you do, this comes off here and a thin washer is then applied, okay, between the cross lock and the bolt, and that disables the lock. So that's what I've done with my Leatherman, which I've checked, I've been into the police station with it, applied the law, sub 3 inches, does not lock in any way. Would that be an issue? Police? No, that's not an issue. In actual fact, one of the police officers told me that he really liked the idea, would probably be doing the same with his own, okay. So that makes that legal. Other knives, Swiss Army knife, those sort of pocket knives, okay, and that's really what the law was aimed at. It was aimed at being sensible with allowing people to still have a pocket knife. There's many uses for a pocket knife, and a lot of people in the UK want to carry one, okay. Now, locking blades. So if you're a farmer, and a lot of farmers I know have a locking knife, okay, because they use it every single day as a tool, as part of their job. They can get away with it, okay. Same with foresters, same with hunters, when doing their profession. But if that farmer then goes into a supermarket and he's carrying a knife with him, the law would prosecute him. It would say, well, you have no reason to have that locking knife there with you. It's a tool. A mechanic doesn't take his tools into the shops with him, and therefore you could have left that in your vehicle secured, or you could have left that at your place of work, okay. So again, you have to apply rules and regulations pretty much as they're written, but there are ways and exceptions to ensure that you can carry on legally. Now, I have also had the unfortunate situation where I have been in a place with a legal knife and a police officer has stopped and searched me and confiscated that knife. Okay, so I had my knife confiscated, and what I did with the police officer, I explained to him that it complied with UK law, it was sub 3 inches, it didn't lock and so forth, and he said, no, I'm confiscating it. I didn't argue with him, I didn't get into confrontation with him. I said, that's fine, how do I go about getting it back? I want a receipt for it, and so forth. He turned around and said, yeah, that's not going to be an issue or a problem, come to the police station and you'll be able to retrieve it. Which I did, and I then got a full apology, because as with all police officers, they're not always fully conversant with all the rules and regulations. They should be in a perfect world, but if they've not come across it before, they're only applying what they know. And at the end of the day, de-escalate the situation rather than escalate it. So that's how I managed that myself. It's not perfect, it's not brilliant, yeah, and I don't necessarily consider it as being right. Now, when it comes to other bladed items, okay, so when we're talking about your survival knife, your bushcraft knife, which are going to be like that, it'll be like that, or even possibly carried like that, okay. Speaking to the police, I can have those with me. I am quite entitled and legally allowed to take that with me, okay? However, it cannot be readily to hand. If I'm walking through the town to get the bus to go up the woods to do my bushcraft and survival, it cannot be readily to hand. It needs to be at the bottom, not the top, not strapped to the outside, not on my leg. It needs to be in the bottom of my bag, so that in the eyes of the law, if I was to be confronted with a situation of violence, I would not instinctively go to it, instantly pull it out. It's the same problem when you're carrying a knife in a car. If I have my bushcraft knife in the car, if it's in the boot, in a bag, that's quite legal. If it's in the door pocket, okay, or readily to hand to me in the car, it is illegal. Okay, so again, you need to apply those sort of rules, especially when you're looking at your bushcraft knives and your survival knives. It's got to be not readily to hand. And my advice to you there, if you're unfortunate enough to have your vehicle stopped and searched, okay, and they find your knife in the boot and they get flappy and stressy about it, especially when it's with your bag and that, ask them or make sure that they document where it is, how it is, and ride the situation out and see it in court, okay, because you will win. You are applying good use, good sense, and you have a justifiable reason to have your bushcraft knife. The practice of bushcraft, camping and survival skills are legal and recognised pastimes in the UK, so you can do that quite happily, okay, but walking down the street with that strapped to your leg is going to get you into a world of hurt. Other situations I've come across is people carrying things like airsoft guns for defence. Well, I'm sorry, carrying an airsoft gun for self-defence is going to get you busted big time. Right, UK gun law. Any item that will cause fear, concern to other people, or could be construed as a threat or a firearm, is illegal. Okay, you stick a cucumber inside a bag, walk into a bank, say, I've got a shotgun here, give me your money, you will be charged with having a firearm, because that's what you intended other people to think and see. So if you're carrying your airsoft Glock in your pocket or on a holster on your hip, you can be prosecuted for it, because it will cause unnecessary distress and fear to other people, because in the UK you don't expect to see that. Okay, so again, think about what you're carrying, how you're carrying it. There is a protection under UK law for the ordinary person who is walking around following their ordinary everyday life, and that protection says they should not be caused unnecessary or undue distress, fear or harm. Okay, that's just one of the laws there is. So if you're running around with a sword strapped to your... Okay, so for my friend that's coming from the States, the other issue you may well have will be with customs, both on the US side and the UK side. Obviously, you can't carry something like that on board the plane in the cabin. You could put it into your luggage, but again, it only takes one official to decide to get his happy hat on, and you've lost it. So my advice to you would be to do it the same way I do when I'm travelling abroad. So if I'm travelling to the US or somewhere like that, I pack what I need. But when I actually get there, then invariably I will go into a fishing shop, something like Bass Pro, or somewhere like that, and pick up what I need for whilst I'm out there, whether it be a leatherman, whether it might be a sheepdog, depending on what I'm doing and what the local rules, laws and regulations are. And again, one of the bonuses is being in those kind of shops, you can turn around and say, what are the laws and rules in this state? Can I have it in the front of the car? Can I have it in my pocket, on my hip? And so on. So it keeps you up to date. Invariably then, on me leaving wherever I am, I have two choices. One, I can either pack it up, post it to myself, mail it to myself as a present, happy birthday Mickey, or invariably what I end up doing, because if I bought a leather, if I'm going out, it's usually a Leatherman wingman for me, I like it, and I've got a couple here, so invariably somebody who's helped me, somebody who's been a guide, somebody who's been a friend out there I've befriended, pass it on to them. A thank you. There's a little gift, just to something. Saves me having to carry it back on the plane and so forth, okay? Or trying to get it back on the plane. So, because again, customs is, yeah, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. You think you got it right, and then they'll wallop you, and you've lost an item. You don't want to do that. So that's my advice to you: would be to come over, get one here. Adapting it, quite simple. It is literally find a hardware shop, get a really thin washer. You're going to be able to do that pretty much in any hotel room, or get yourself a world legal knife when you get over here. There are plenty of them. Now, I have heard that there's not too much of a trouble with an old favourite carrying that around the world. Apparently, and you will have to check on the legality of this, one of the things that's readily accepted in a traveller's luggage apparently is a Swiss Army knife. I don't know what it is, but it seems to me that when we're talking about knives, doesn't matter what sort of knife it is, whether it's a multi-tool or what, as soon as you say to people Swiss Army knife, they go, oh, Boy Scout Swiss Army knife. That's not a problem. So I don't know why, but again, I wouldn't want to give you the wrong advice and have it seized. You're going to need to check on things. Now, if you want to check from the States on UK knife law and regulations, it's www.gov. That is spelled GOV in capitals .uk. Okay, and then type in whatever you want to check after that, whether it's knife law, whether it's carrying, and so on, and that will give you what the law is. Now, if you're really unsure, if you really want to be pedantic with people, and I know somebody who does this, it's not me, but I know somebody who does this, who's actually printed it off on a piece of A4, laminated it, keeps it folded in his wallet. And any time he meets somebody that says, oh, you can't, he loves to pull it out and go, read that. Okay, so again, you can take yourself that way. Now, I hope the video wasn't confrontational, and I know there's going to be people saying, oh, well, you know, where we live and where we live. Yeah, guys, it's the way it is. Okay, it's just the way it is. I don't make the rules up, but I have to live by them. And you will have rules in your country which you don't agree with as well. Okay, um, yeah, just have to put up with this life, isn't it? Anyhow, I hope this helps. I hope you thoroughly enjoy your trip to the UK. If you're going to be in the Hampshire, Surrey, South East region, let me know, look me up, maybe we'll meet up and have a pint in the evening or something, okay? But other than that, enjoy yourself, have a great time here. It is a wonderful country, no matter what a lot of people think. It's a fantastic amount of history, some fantastic countryside, so enjoy your visit. Um, yeah, guys, love those you don't, forget those you don't. And as always, please do not be upon you all. This is Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Till next time, have a good one.